gone beyond 5 games.
You know what, Clint Hurdle and the players have said all of the right things about win one game at a time, but even they, you can tell, you can sense it, they know they're in trouble.
And the Red Sox have been just brilliant in every phase of the game. There have been a lot of columns written over the last couple of nights, Rick, that they may be the perfect baseball team right now.
Well, but Obi, I thought you made an interesting point last night about how they've added a phase they never had before, and that's the speed at the top of this order.
And here he is, Jacoby Ellsbury, who already is one of the fastest men in the majors. He's played half the season. The first pitch of game 4 is outside and low, and we are underway with Ellsbury taking ball 1. Those flashbulbs crackling all around the ballpark. Laced to left field down the line. That's a fair ball. It'll bounce into the corner, and the Red Sox are at it again with yet another double. That is 40 doubles in postseason play for Boston, and his 4th double in 2 games.
Last night he had 3 hits in the first 3 innings. He's already got 1 hit tonight on just the second pitch that he saw. You can see the plan of attack there. If he's not going to stay down in the zone when he elevates that sinker, they're a patient team, but they're going to take swings at those pitches. Being patient does not mean taking all of the time. It means taking until you get something you can handle.
Boy, Ellsbury really getting to flash his speed the last 2 nights. Pedroia trying to drop down a bunt. He fouls it away. Dustin Pedroia with a big night last night, 3 for 5, and he drove in 2 runs. The 40 doubles, a record. They have blown away the 2004 Yankees in that category, although history will note the Yankees didn't have the World Series to play in.
Well, that 352 team average they have coming into play tonight in the World Series, that too is better than the all-time record of the 1960 New York Yankees.
Cook with the 0-1 pitch. Ground ball, softly hit. Atkins there. Ellsbury will move up. And Pedroia retired, but it did have the effect of a bunt to get him down to 3rd.
Well, you've got that speed. But I'm telling you what, Atkins right here could have done more to hold him there. Look at him. Look at where he goes to get the ball. Now all he had to do was turn around and look at Ellsbury from where he was at. He might have been able to beat him to the bag. If nothing else, he could have held him up. Right there, take a look and go back. I mean, he is as close to the bag, if not closer, than what Ellsbury was. He could have gotten back there. But they're playing so, I got to use the word scared. From the very beginning, they've not been able to take chances, and the Red Sox are taking advantage of it.
That has really shown up, I think, in their outfield play, particularly with Hop and Sullivan last night. There's a ground ball to right side through for a base hit. Ortiz strikes, and the Red Sox lead it 1-0. So a double, a little ground out, and Ortiz with the RBI single. 5 pitches, 1 run off Cook.
Obi, it's the second time I've wondered why Clint Hurdle would bring the infield in the first inning. Remember in game 1 when he did it with Manny Ramirez? You're not going to get these big guys out. That's why they make the money they make. That's why they drive in the runs they do. When you bring the infield in, you're giving yourself no chance. We're in Coors Field. You're facing John Lester tonight, and you're telling your team right now, if you're Clint Hurdle, you know what, I'm worried about them getting 1 run. That's the wrong message.
Manny Ramirez now, who is overdue for a little noise. He was the only Sox starter without a hit last night, as he went 0 for 4. Still at 381, 4 homers, 16 runs batted in. Manny has become, much to our surprise, a veritable quote machine since the postseason started. After barely speaking to a reporter all season long, and he rarely does anyway. 1-0 pitch, he took a hack and right through it. But Manny was talking about, the sweep and winning the World Series so quickly. He said, you don't want to eat the cake before your birthday.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure. Just as Manny said during the LCS, you know what? If we lose and lose fast to the Indians, the sun will rise tomorrow. It's not the end of the world. There's always next year. And in the first round, after he hit that mammoth home run against the Angels, he said, I'm a bad man.
Yes, he is.
Fouled back to the net.
They've also develop a new T-shirt for Manny Ramirez in the clubhouse, and I can't wait to get my hands on one of them. It just simply says Manny Ramirez, the fall guy.
Autumn is his time of year. 16 runs batted in so far in the postseason. Round one went 3 games, 7 with the Indians in round 2. And now game 4 of the World Series. He's trying to add to that total. Ortiz at first, 1 out, a run in for Boston. Hit sharply. Atkins staying down for it. Matsui Wan on the first double play. 5-4-3. Cook gets his ground ball. But the Red Sox also get that first run off the right-hander. Colorado coming up. Boston in front. 1-0 in game 4. John Lester to face this lineup for Colorado, presented by MasterCard. Kaz Matsui, Tulowitzki, and Holiday are 1-2-3. Helton, the cleanup man. Garrett Atkins at third. Ryan Spilborghs at center field. Hop in right. Toriyama does the catching, and Aaron Cook is the pitcher, batting ninth. Let's meet them defensively now. The Red Sox backing up Lester.
Jason Veritek, catcher, USA.
David Ortiz, first baseman, Dominican Republic.
I'm Dustin Pedroia, second base, United States. Mike Lowell, third base, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Julio Lugo, shortstop, Dominican Republic.
Manny Ramirez, left field, Dominican Republic.
Jacoby Ellsbury, center field, USA.
JD Drew, right field, USA.
John Lester from Tacoma, Washington, 23 years old, 6'2", 190 pounds, perfect 4-0 on the season. The bullpen, as has become recent Red Sox tradition, greeting him as he came out of that pen to get ready for his warm-up tosses on the hill.
You know, I think more than anything, that just helps take some of the pressure off of him of throwing this first pitch in a World Series game when some people thought he'd never pitch again.
His first one up and away, ball 1 on Matsui, hitting .310 for the postseason. I mentioned a year ago at this time he was still battling the effects of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Tonight pitching to put the Red Sox into another ring ceremony at Fenway Park. 1 ball, 1 strike on Matsui.
You know, being in the manager's office before the game, Terry Francona made an interesting comment about Lester. He said a couple of years ago, when you'd be in a meeting with the Red Sox front office people.
Little pop-up. Lester wants this himself, and he does it for out number 1.
He said that 2 names would come up, Papelbon and Lester. And he said the room would be divided. Who do you like the best? Some like Papelbon and some like this guy. Well, if he gets back to where he was, he could be something special.
Tulowitzki out of that 2 spot again tonight, 216 for the postseason with 1 home run. Very chilly the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Another one they need to get hot very, very quickly if Colorado's going to hang in it. Matt Holliday on deck.
We'll be talking with several media people before the game. They were asking me, did you expect this? And I said, you know what? We all expected the Red Sox to win. And they said, why? Well, the reason is, if you look at both teams position for position, Tulowitzki's the only guy that if you were the general manager of the Red Sox, you'd say, okay, I'll take that guy over mine. Every other position, Boston's happier with what they've got than what they would if they could get it for the same price from the Rockies, except this kid.
The 1-1 is outside, although I would say at this very moment, the Red Sox might hang on to their guy after the night he had last night. Just in that one instance, I mean, Lugo was just spectacular defensively with 2 great plays. He was also on base 3 times. Tulowitzki's going to be a big star. Tried to hold up, could not, and the count goes to 2-2.
I think you're looking at 2 guys that will be big stars over the next 5 years. Tulowitzki, the shortstop, who's had the great year, and John Lester, the pitcher on the mound, with the great comeback.
Fouled off. Lester, a big strikeout pitcher. In fact, in his last regular season start of 2007, he wasn't in the game all that long, but he struck out 9 over 4 2/3, and 5 of them were caught looking. He can have exceptionally good stuff. His fastball can hurry up to 95. Trying to put away Tulowitzki. And he got him. The swing and miss for strike 3. Tulowitzki thought he had fouled it off. A brief argument there with Chuck Merriweather. But he walks away a strikeout victim.
Well, he finally goes to that breaking ball. He had sped up the bat of the shortstop. Tulowitzki, tired of being late on those good fastballs, tried to cheat a little bit, and right on the moment when he needed to do it, he pulls the string and gets the second out. And now the situation you want to face Matt Holliday in.
Holliday whacked a 3-run homer last night. That made it 6-5 in the 7th inning, and for about a half an hour the Rockies were in it. Inside for ball 1. But keep in mind that each of the last 5 players to hit a home run in the World Series the same year that they won the league MVP, and many think Holliday will win it, they did so for a team that lost the World Series. 1 ball and 1 strike. In fact, the last man who won an MVP and also homered in a World Series his team won was Kirk Gibson, the Dodgers. Quite a memorable home run against Dennis Eckersley. Bases empty, 2 down, and the 1-1 pitch from the southpaw Lester. Grounded toward the hole, but scooting over Pedroia and throws him out. Lester with an excellent start for him, just 12 pitches. He disposes of Matsui, Tulowitzki, and Holliday in succession. And after 1 inning in Game 4, it's the Red Sox 1, the Colorado Rockies nothing. Major League Baseball International special presentation of the 2007 World Series is brought to you by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Rick Sutcliffe, Dave O'Brien with him here from Coors Field in downtown Denver, Colorado. 68 degrees at game time. Mike Lowell, J.D. Drew, and Jason Varitek trying to spoil the dreams of the Rocky fans who still think they are in it. Trying to take it 1 game at a time. They have no choice, but the Red Sox seem to take games in bunches and already have the quick run. Mike Lowell at .340 for the postseason with 14 runs batted in. Quietly fashioning a pretty nice series as he takes a strike. He was 2 for 5 with a couple of RBIs last night.
You know, you asked me before the game who I thought right now, if the series were to end and Boston were the champs, who the MVP would be. This is my guy.
Bounding ball to third, right over the bag. Atkins throws on and retires Lowell. 1 man gone. J.D. Drew on the way up next. And for the Red Sox, let's go to Rick Sutcliffe's keys to the game.
Well, I think the big thing they've got to do is go back to the American League Championship Series and remember their approach against Fausto Carmona. Both of these guys, Aaron Cook and Carmona, are sinker ball type guys. You've got to stay away from hitting into that double play. What happened in the first inning? Right off the bat, Manny hit into the double play, but that was the first one they've hit into in this World Series.
1 man out for J.D. Drew, who has 11 at-bats in his career against Aaron Cook, and one of them has resulted in a home run. He's 4 for 11. Pops him up. Out goes Matsui, the second baseman. 2 down. Varitek will be next.
Aaron Cook was the opening day starter this year for the Rockies, and you can see why. 4th best in the majors this year as far as ground ball to fly ball ratio is concerned. Well, he's got good velocity tonight, OB. Ellsbury got him, you know, he's getting everybody else with that double, but since then, I mean, he's broke some bats.
Question is going to be just how deep into this game can he go? How long can he be out there after 2.5 months off? Of course, he's been rehabbing, he's been throwing pitches, but facing big league hitters and here at altitude as well, that's a different story. Thus far, he's only thrown 14 pitches. That's going to be a big key for him. Get that heavy sinker working. A strike to make it 1-1.
talking with both managers before the game about their starting pitchers, they both said, you know what, it's not like he's got to be ready to go again in 5 days. This is it. This is all they want right here.
A little too high, 2-1 on Varitek.
I think it's so important for the Rockies. I think this key is more important than any that they've had thus far. He has got to go at least 5 innings. They can't get deep into that bullpen right off the bat again, and that offense needs some confidence.
3 balls and 1 strike. Varitek not biting.
Well, he knows he doesn't have to. We know that Chuck Merriweather behind home plate is a good umpire. He's had a lot of experience, but he's got one of the tighter strike zones in all of baseball.
Swinging on 3-1, he knocks it foul. Varitek at 250 for the playoffs with a homer. And 9 runs batted in, and an RBI last night.
Well, he's had an RBI in each of the first 3 games of this World Series.
The crowd certainly fully in support of Aaron Cook here in Game 4, the 3-2. Ground ball again. That's 3 into the outfield, but plenty of time. 1, 2, 3, they go. It was a 10-pitch inning for Cook. So he gave up the quick run, but he's really settled down very quickly after that. 1-0 Boston. Game 4 of the World Series, 1-0. Let's check out the field dimensions once again here at Coors Field. 347 down the left field line, 350 into the right field corner, and it's 415 feet, and just beyond that, where Matt Holliday's home run ball landed last night.
Sometimes people get confused. They think, well, the key to all the runs being scored here is because the ball carries so well. Actually, it's not only that, but along with the fact this ballpark is so big. 350 down the lines, almost 400 in the gaps, 415 straight away. That is a lot of territory for your outfields to have to cover, and I think that's been a key in this series. You need athletic outfielders to get it done.
Todd Helton to lead things off against Lester. Helton just 189 without a home run and just 2 runs batted in 10 games in the playoffs to this point. And he has been their top hitter for a long time. Batting average. Lots more homers here. 295 on the road. Nothing to sneeze at, but there are those, particularly in the Colorado baseball community, who are touting Helton as a Hall of Fame type player when his career is over. He is a long, long way from being considered a Hall of Famer, and frankly, I don't think he's ever going to get there.
Well, he's one of those guys that's probably like Biggio, where he's going to have to get to or real close to the 3,000 hits.
At his current pace, he's not going to come anywhere near it.
One thing, we saw Boston take advantage of Brad Hopp in the outfield last night. He's not good. The Rockies, I think, need to try to test Manny Ramirez out there.
Outside, good eye there by Helton. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lester, in his brief major league career, is 11-2. He went 7-2 for the Red Sox as a rookie back in 2006. Three and 2.
Last night for Todd Helton, in his 5 at-bats, he made the Red Sox pitchers throw 34 pitches. He's at it again tonight.
Lester with a big fastball if he wants to cut it loose. The 3-2 pitch raked into left center field. That drops into the alley. It's a long way out there. Ellsbury spins. He throws. Helton dives. He's got a double.
Somebody's got to ignite this offense, and that somebody for the last 10 years has been Todd Helton. he's not a speed guy. And if this were a regular season game, he probably would have just taken the single. But right off the bat, when he sees the ball heading towards the gap, even though the outfielder came up with it, Ellsbury with a strong throw, he had made up his mind. You're going to have to get me. I'm going to try to get us going. And with nobody out, getting to second base, now you can get that run back without having to get another hit.
Garrett Atkins just 162, no homers, 1 run batted in postseason play. That's a strike, 0-1. Atkins coming off a big RBI season, well over 100. The opportunity knocking for him to tie the ball game up.
I didn't recognize Garrett before the game tonight. Cleanly shaven.
Fouled away, trying to change his luck.
Well, I asked him about that. I said, "You looking for some hits?" He said, "No, I'm just looking for a win." And you know, the more of those things that I hear, the more I get to know this Rocky team. That's what they're all about. And when you hear that, you can see why they've gotten to where they're at.
Lester with an 0-2 pitch. Ground ball right to the shortstop. A friendly hop for Lugo. The runner has to hold. Low throw. Look at the dig by Ortiz at first base, where he practically never plays. He gets the out. A big assist to David Ortiz to dig that one on the low toss.
You know, if you're the Colorado Rockies right now, you have to be thinking everything in the world is going against us. This is a horrible throw on the part of Lugo. He bobbled the ball. He still had plenty of time, and then he throws it in the dirt. Think about this. Okay, that's an out, and that's a nice play. Big Papi may or may not know how he came up with that. But if it gets away, now it's down the line, a run would have scored, and in all probability, Atkins, I mean, by the time Big Papi got to it, he'd have been at third.
Well, Youkilis has made plays like that all season long, but he's on the bench. And here's Spilborghs.
And Helton's still at second base. Not a good at bat.
Yanked off to the right, foul by Spilborghs.
He's played a lot of ball games in this ballpark, and he was still in disbelief during batting practice that the one he hit last night did not go out.
Helton started the inning with a double.
You know what? Helton's starting to think about stealing third. There's no one even close to him at second base.
Fly ball to center field. Fairly well hit, but Ellsbury is there backing up. Helton has time to tag up. He'll head into third, but with 2 out. And if he winds up frozen there, that's going to be a very frustrating inning for Colorado.
You know, you just think about the difference in the score right now. The Red Sox with a man on second, nobody out. Ellsbury was able to advance him. So be it, you know, the speed. Pedroia advanced him. Ellsbury's speed helped out. You bring the infield in, Big Papi gets a ground ball through, they get the lead. On the other hand, the Rockies not able to do that.
Lester trying to hold now. The man 90 feet away from tying it. Here's Brad Hopp.
Well, 278 on the year, but 214 against left-handed pitching.
Wide for ball 1.
You know, here's a move I would have made. I always, as you know, project my lineups out before we get here. I would have had Tavares in the lineup, if nothing else, for his defense. But here's part of the reason he's in the lineup. And he got a hit off a left-hander last night, and he's had some big hits in the postseason against left-handed pitching.
Good breaking ball to make it 1-1. You saw Hopp's knees give a little bit.
Takes a little bit off of it here. Just a little get-over breaking ball. 72 miles an hour. And we've seen Hopp chase that high fastball throughout this series.
He has had a devil of a time making contact. That's wide, 2-1. Pop trying to pick up Helton at third. 2 down in the second inning. Boston on top 1-0. High again, 3-1. Yovi Torrealba, the catcher, is on deck. John Lester tonight filling Tim Wakefield's spot in the rotation. Wakefield, because of back and shoulder issues, not placed on the roster for the World Series. The 3-1. Breaking ball wide for ball 4.
Boy, that was almost by design. Staying away from the left-handed hitter, that surprises me a little bit. Torrealba's been able to come up with a couple of hits in this series. One thing you know, though, Torrealba really struggled in August and September. And for them to throw a 3-1 breaking ball there, that was by design. They think they can get this guy out.
Torrealba swinging a pretty good bat in the playoffs at .286. That's for all postseason games. He was fairly critical of his own pitching staff after the first 3 games of the series and last night's 10-5 loss.
I didn't like that.
He takes a pitch in there for a strike. He said, you know, our pitchers did very good work when we faced the Red Sox back in June, taking 2 out of 3. But while they have made adjustments, our pitchers have not in the World Series.
You don't point fingers, particularly this time of the year. I know for a fact that did not go over well in that Rocky clubhouse.
Torrealba's the catcher. He's the guy putting down the signs. Here's the 0-1. Now 0-2. That one tied him up.
Good cut fastball. Normally with Lester it'll be like 85 to 88 miles per hour. Just completely tying him up. You know, how many times have you ever heard Jason Varitek say something like that about his staff?
I think like never.
Yeah.
Red Sox pitchers absolutely rave about Jason Varitek and the work ethic, the study time, the communication skills.
You know, he gives me a little bait every night before the game about Lester, and he pointed to his right hand to me. I said, what does that mean? He said if he can hit that side of the plate, he said he will pitch well. There's a pickoff, and we know that was sent in from bench coach Brad Mills. Mills, of course, was the one that sent in the sign to try the pickoff with Matt Holliday from Papelbon that worked. But he was talking about that first base side of home plate. Lester's command there not nearly as good as it is to the other side.
On the corners, the runners leading away. The 0-2 fouled back as Torrealba spoiled it. There's Brad right behind John Farrell, the pitching coach. John Farrell's name being bandied about as perhaps the next manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I was teasing Francona about it before the game, and Gary Tuck, one of his other coaches, rumored to be going to the Yankees with Joe Girardi.
Of course, no one can talk to these guys until the World Series is over, which may be tonight. 0-2 pitch, grounded softly. Lugo has it measured, fires on, got him, and Lester gets out of the inning.
Don't forget the play by Big Papi at first base, though. That was huge in this inning.
Big Papi always seemingly coming up big this time of the year for the Boston Red Sox. Certainly Lester did. After 2, 1-0 Boston. In Denver, or they're here at Coors Field, but in a few hours that place is going to be mobbed, especially if the Rockies win.
I'm glad you explained that.
Looks like it's high noon to the OK Corral.
Yeah, there you go.
There's Chuck Merriweather behind the plate, part of the judiciary for Game 4.
Well, he's outstanding. It's his 16th year at the big league level. It's his 11th postseason and his 2nd World Series. Mike Everett down there at first base. Mike Riley, the veteran, with the clock out there at second. Eddie Montague down at third. Laz Diaz moving over to the left field line. And Teddy Barrett over there at right field after being behind home plate last night.
I think the Red Sox like the karma as Lugo goes up to hit and he takes strike one. The last time the Red Sox won the World Series, which was way back in 2004, Chuck Merriweather was behind the home plate on the night they clinched it. Lugo at 267 for the postseason, no homers. Fouls that one off his leg. And during the regular season, Julio only drew 48 walks, but last night drew big ones for the Red Sox. And he scored both times that he got on base. Lester will follow him, and then Jacoby Ellsbury here for Boston. Red Sox in the lead 1-0 in the third, just getting started in this inning. Matsui with the stop at second, 1 man out. Cook piling up those ground ball outs. We invite you to keep up with all the latest postseason news and stats at MLB.com. You can watch and hear live game video and audio at MLB.tv and purchase authentic playoff gear as well. MLB.com, where baseball is always on. We want to hear from you, so drop us an email at tvquestions@mlb.com. Here's Lester. The base is empty as he takes a strike. MLB.com. How about that?
Some of that merchandise.
Paul and Anita are writing us from Cork, Ireland. Hi, guys. If the Sox go on to win the World Series this year, do you think this team would be considered a dynasty in years to come, having won 2 World Series in 4 years? Lester putting it in play. Atkins, a rangy stop, and throws him out. 2 men gone. I think there's been a lot of talk about that, Sut, about the Red Sox approaching dynastic proportions if they do in fact win another World Series, and if they win it via a sweep like they just won the last one.
Well, for me it starts right there. You've got to have a #1 guy, and I think they've got the best pitcher in baseball right now.
Josh Beckett.
We know about what they can do with the heart of the order. We know with Big Papi and Manny, you're always going to have offense. We're learning about Ellsbury. We've learned about Pedroia. He did it for a whole year. And right along with Beckett, I think the biggest key to that dynasty is the big right-hander down in the bullpen, Papelbon.
Ellsbury has already doubled and scored after 3 doubles and going 4 for 5 last night. The Red Sox have most of their key stars signed up to multi-year deals. Mike Lowell's a guy that seems to be more and more evidence that the Red Sox are going to offer him a contract to be a free agent at the end of the World Series. It's not a done deal yet.
You know, he loves the guys in that clubhouse. He loves his teammates. They love him. That deal is going to get done. I would be shocked if he didn't have that same uniform on next year.
I'd be very surprised myself. 120 runs batted in. He'll be named the Red Sox MVP by the writers who cover the team locally. That bat shatters. Another play for Matsui. He's been very busy. Cook zipped through the inning. 1, 2, 3. 8 of his 9 outs have come on the ground ball. He still trails 1-0. The Rockies trying to even it up or better in the home half of the third. Coming up next. Hank Aaron Award, and
come on, A-Rod. I hope there's a good excuse there.
Aaron Cook, the pitcher, to lead off against Lester. Fascinating and rather ironic duel here, isn't it? We've talked about Lester coming back from cancer. Aaron Cook coming back from a serious blood clot in his lungs 3 years ago, and certainly jeopardized his life and his baseball career. And here they square off as opponents in Game 4 of the World Series.
You talk about Cook, how he could have died right there on the field with the blood clots and what was going on. And I know Lester, he hopes that after tonight that, he can just pitch.
0-2 fouled back. He said that for several months, that, I understand people want to use me as an inspiration. I'm fine with that. I did come back from a very, very scary situation from the non-Hodgkins, and I know what that means to people. But at some point, I want them only to call me a pitcher, or at least a pitcher first, and a cancer survivor second. 0-2 runs in. Mike Lowell has had success with that. Lowell's a cancer survivor. Testicular cancer several years ago during his Marlins career.
But I know you agree, Obi. It's so important to get that word out, because we've all been affected by cancer somewhere throughout our family.
Popped into right field. J.D. Drew is there. Out number one. You think of the gentlemen in baseball who have been affected and have beaten cancer, like Joe Torre, and outside of baseball,
Dusty Baker.
Dusty Baker inside the game. Thinking of Lance Armstrong and his cancer fight and success, what that meant to people around the world. Major League Baseball huge in the fight against prostate cancer, for example. Doing great work there. Kaz Matsui back to the top of the order for Colorado. He's 0 for 1, having popped out to Lester, the pitcher.
Yeah, they need him big tonight. He was last night for him. You mentioned he had 3 hits in game 3. He was also on base 4 times. With a left-handed pitcher on the mound, here's another reason I thought Tavares would be in the lineup. You can push that bunt to the first baseman, and with a big left-handed pitcher falling towards the third base line, it's tougher for them to get back to the bag to make the play. You can't do it with 2 strikes. But I'm really surprised there isn't somebody trying to take advantage of Big Papi there at first.
Ortiz playing on the bad knee, which will require arthroscopic surgery at some point over the winter. 0-2, he got jammed there. Got another email, this one from John Guzman, Navy guy writing from Guantanamo Bay. Thanks for letting all the military guys write in and answer our question. It means a lot to everyone, says John. And John, that's our pleasure.
Well, it means more to us, yeah.
This one's targeted at you, Rick. Of all your accomplishments, accolades, and awards, which one meant the most to you personally? We talked about the Roberto Clemente Award that you won during your playing career. The 0-2 lined into left. Manny Ramirez. That is over his head. That one found him. Matsui's into second base. He'll stop there with a double.
Obi, you're exactly right. That baseball for the Rockies finally found him, or just barely avoided him. He should have made this play. He got a bad break to begin with. He broke in on the ball, and then by that time it was too late. Just out over the outstretched arm of Manny. Just a routine fly ball. But you could see Manny, look at him, all of a sudden have to turn. He took a real awkward route towards that baseball, and he turned that out into a double.
So 1 down, a man in scoring position for Tulowitzki, who struck out in the first inning. The rookie at 211 for the postseason. Colorado, for the second straight inning, gets a 2-base hit early in the inning. We'll see if they can cash in against Lester. Tulowitzki fouls that one back. Now, of all the awards you won, Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, ERA champ, wins leader, comeback player of the year, all that stuff, what was the most important?
No question, hands down, the Roberto Clemente Award. That was something that you don't need an award for the type of things that you do there, but when you think about all of the things that man did in his life, the great player that he was, and all of the things that he did off the field, just to have your name in the same newspaper article is a tremendous honor.
The 0-1 to Tulowitzki, fouled back again. John had another question too. Of all the catchers, who is your favorite to pitch to?
You know what? My favorite all time would have to be Johnny Oates. Johnny Oates was there my rookie year.
He later became your manager, right?
He did. He became my manager. He was a coach for me with the Cubs in '84. He was the manager with the Orioles in '92. But I really compare what happened there to me to what's going on here with John Lester. Johnny Oates was a veteran. He knew more about which pitch I should throw than I did. So I just simply went with him. That's what Lester's doing now with Veritek.
And at second, one man gone. The breaking ball lands low on Tulowitzki. Danger in the on-deck area. Matt Holliday. Runners in scoring position. This has just been abysmal for Colorado, and 0 for 3 tonight. Inside under the elbow, 2-2.
I'll tell you what, if you could put a clock on the time between Lester's pitches, man, when somebody gets on base, he just comes to a halt. And for me, most of the time, I mean, Veritek can put down the sign, but this guy's got to have the confidence to keep going. The more you slow down, the more confidence you give the opposing team.
Lester's 2-2. Swing and a miss. He tied him up and struck him out. Well, he's got Tulowitzki's number, it seems. Twice Lester has fanned the rookie.
Yeah, but twice, OB, he's taken swings at pitches that were not strikes. Remember when he chased the curveball down in the strike zone? Acted like he fouled it off. That pitch was a ball. That's a pitch that you're not going to be able to hit. And until Tulowitzki makes him throw strikes, he's going to keep seeing that pitch.
So the Rockies on the verge of their second consecutive frustrating inning. Despite the extra base hit. And so he's still there at second. Holliday 0 for 1. He is grounded out. And he takes ball 1. Red Sox 1, Colorado nothing. We're in the bottom of the third inning of game 4. Just inside 50,000 last night here at Coors Field. 49,983. They are shoehorned in again tonight. The 1-0. Took a hack at it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Elton next if the inning gets that far. The 1-1 to the MVP candidate. 2 balls, 1 strike.
He was paying attention to the at bat with Tulowitzki. That same pitch, that slider down and in. You're not going to do much with that pitch.
The home batting average, second best in the majors. Also hit 25 home runs in this ballpark. He hit 11 on the road. Here comes the 2-1. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. That one disappeared on him.
For this young team, everybody wants to be the hero. Everybody wants to, get the big hit to get him out of it. Well, all he's doing is he's going to walk you. And the best thing you can do for your team is to accept those walks. We've seen that happen. We've seen it so many times in this series. That's been the difference. In game 2, the 2 runs that scored for the Red Sox got on base via the base on ball. Not only are the Rocky pitchers giving away too many of those, but the Rocky hitters refusing to take them.
He's thrown a lot of pitches to this point, but a lot of strikes.
We were told that he could throw up to 100 tonight if needed.
Popped up, foul out of play. At this point on this pace, that would not get him through 6 innings, but I got to believe the Red Sox would be pretty happy with 5 out of John Lester. Then they can unload the bullpen because you've got Beckett going if there is a game 5 tomorrow. That has to give Lester a little extra confidence boost, and the Red Sox as well.
Boy, it is nice knowing Beckett's there for tomorrow night because, as you mentioned last night, both of these teams combined to use 12 pitchers. That was a World Series record in a 9-inning game.
Also 4 hours and 19 minutes. Cut on and missed. He blew him away with a high fastball. The Rockies now 0 for 5 tonight with runners in scoring position. They waste the double by Matsui, just as they wasted the second inning double by Todd Helton. Through 3, 1-0 Boston. Downtown Denver is all lit up, in particular the jewel in the middle, Coors Field. You talk about the salaries of these two clubs. Well, it's not even close. The Red Sox, $143 million. Break that down in pesos, euros, yen. And for the Colorado Rockies in U.S., it's $54,424,000. The Red Sox, with a giant payroll for sure, outspent only by the New York Yankees in 2007. Daisuke Matsuzaka, a big chunk of that.
You know, and you think about bringing Josh Beckett over here. The only reason they got him was because they were willing to take the salary of Mike Lowell. Mike Lowell was a throw-in.
Could be a big inning for the Red Sox. They've got Pedroia, Ortiz, Ramirez, and then if anyone reaches Mike Lowell due to hit against Aaron Cook. The 28-year-old, 6'3", 215 pounds. So far getting a slew of ground ball outs. Pedroia with a 7-game hitting streak in the postseason. Man, did he catch fire in the last 3 games of the league championship series, and has not stopped hitting.
And how about all of those teams that question his size and whether he could play at the big league level or not?
That one pops out of the mid of Torrealba. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pedroia 3 for 5 last night with a couple of RBIs. Ellsbury, Pedroia, and Matsuzaka each had 2 RBIs. Now, in World Series history, there was only one other game in which 2 rookie teammates, even 2, drove in as many as 2 runs in a game. And last night, the Red Sox had 3 guys do it. Elton will flip on the pitcher covering for a quick out number 1. And another ground ball out from Aaron Cook. That play goes 3-1, and Ortiz will step in next.
Pounding the bottom of that strike zone is what Bob Apodaca, the pitching coach of the Rockies, was talking about before the game. That was the game plan they had all along against the Red Sox, as we look at Bob there. But none of the other starting pitchers were able to do that. They were pitching away from contact. Cook is just going right at him. He's trusting his stuff and relying on that terrific defense they've got.
10 outs, 9 of them ground ball outs. Ortiz takes a strike. Now he has singled in a run tonight. Doesn't have a whole lot of experience against Aaron Cook, but Big Papi is 4 for 5 off him now.
4 for 5 with 2 walks. So how about that? On base 6 out of 7 times.
He didn't like that strike call too much. Chuck Merriweather gets questioned. Ortiz has a tremendous idea of the strike zone, but is he right to argue? Close.
Strike.
A pitcher's always going to say that. He swings mightily and fouls it back, but I would agree.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If Chuck Merriweather misses a pitch, what he's going to miss is that it was a pitch that he's not going to call a pitch a ball that's a strike. I mean, he is tight back there. He's not going to give a pitcher either side anything.
Ortiz with the game's RBI and also fine defensive play at first. Inside. Boy, that previous argument may have got him that call right there.
I think those 2 pitches were different. I think there was about a 4-inch difference in where this ball ended up off the plate as opposed to the other one. And you know what? Torrealba could have caught that a little bit better. You see how he caught that in the middle of the glove instead of the webbing?
The pitcher's always going to say that. Popped up over second base in the shallow center. Long run out there for Matsui, but plenty of time. It was up there all night. Tulowitzki's actually the man who makes the play for out number 2.
Well, let's go back and take a look at where Torrealba catches this pitch. Take a look at where his glove is. Look at where the ball hits his glove, right in the middle. If it hits his glove out there on the end, and he's got the webbing out there and more of the glove over the strike zone, he might get that call. That's a little bitty thing. Maybe not a lot of people notice it or care about it, but when David Ortiz is at home plate and you got a chance to get that call, my catcher better help me get it.
Ortiz with a pop-up, so that's 2 down. The last 9 batters have failed to get the ball out of the infield for Boston. Now Manny Ramirez looking at a strike, and Cook looks like he is locked in. Because even when he has missed, it's been barely. Ramirez 0 for his last 6. Hit into a double play in the first inning.
You know, a big tall guy at 6'3", and he's using that downward plane, the angle that his height creates along with the movement.
1-1.
Just, you know, you figured the velocity would be there. It's been 78 days since, you know, he'd been on the mound.
Should be strong enough.
But his command is what's amazing. And I think, you know what, that's a credit to Clint Hurdle and his coaching staff for not rushing Cook back. They could have tried to jam him into the league championship series.
1-1. Ramirez not even close. It is rare you will see Manny Ramirez miss a pitch by this much.
Flat out guessing. He was looking for that ball to have movement back towards him, and it went away. And you're right. If he guesses right, I mean, he'll hurt you. But so far in the first 2 at bats, he's not done that.
Swing and a shot out to left. Holiday there. He's got it. So Cook has thrown only 42 pitches through 4 innings. Ramirez hit it on the line, but right at someone. Cook's been getting him to do that all night, hitting it right at his fielders. Red Sox 1-0 through 3.5. And certainly the Red Sox getting out in front 3-0 in the World Series has put something of a damper on that. But they called it Rocktober. Their amazing run into the World Series, winning 21 out of 22. They did not lose for 38 days. Suddenly they have lost 3 consecutive games, trying to get that magic back inside Coors Field. Look at our line score to this point. Coming up to the bottom half of the 4th inning, the Rockies to send up Helton, Atkins, and Spielborgs. Still plenty of John Elway fans around. The Broncos are here at home on Monday Night Football tomorrow night. So if there's a Game 5, Rick, you and I might as well pull up a couple of cots here in the booth and sleep here, because we're not going anywhere with all the people that are going to be crunched into downtown Denver.
Everybody in Denver is going to be downtown, are they not? You know, when you think about a sports team in Colorado needing to make a comeback, the first guy you'd think of would be John Elway. But last time I checked, he's still retired.
Over 125,000 sports fans with tickets will be inside downtown Denver tomorrow night, and you know, it's going to be a heck of a football game too. I think the Broncos and the Green Bay Packers of Brett Favre. Here's Todd Helton. He takes a strike in the outside corner. So pitching has certainly been the watchword so far tonight here in Game 4. Some of those cheeseheads have found their way to the World Series. David Ortiz met his wife in Green Bay. She is a giant Packer fan, and by extension, so is he. He's not allowed to root for anybody else.
So if they win tonight,
he might just be staying. Watch the football game. I would doubt that. They've got to get back to Boston and prepare for the parade if it happens again.
You know, you think about great football quarterbacks. I mean, at one time, that's what people were saying about Todd Helton. I mean, if you play quarterback at Tennessee, you're good. I don't care how much you played. Or
he got 4 career starts at Tennessee.
Well, and if it's Peyton Manning that you know is one of the guys that replaces you, yeah, there's no reason to hang your head on that.
No shame in that at all.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can right now. He doubled to lead off the 2nd inning, getting on base. Didn't get any help at all from his friends. He's trying to get on base here again.
Another long at bat for him. It was a 6-pitch at bat first time. He grounds this one to Pedroia down for the stop. Onto that noted cheesehead Ortiz. 1 man out.
Big Poppy was laughing at me as I walked back through the clubhouse. He said, "Manny got you, didn't he?" I said, "Yeah." Manny, I don't know why, but he come up to me and he said, "Here, let me help you out." And he started just squirting me with cologne. Like, what, you know, Manny, what? you know, what are you doing with Cologne at the ballpark anyway?
Swinging a line shot. There's Lugo with a nice rangy play, and down he goes. To steal what would have been a hit from Atkins. Lugo making all the defensive plays.
Obie, there's been a lot of things written that you and I have both read about the advanced scouting of the Boston Red Sox and just how many times their defenders are able to make the play. Whether it be like that where you're off balance, fully extended, or whether the ball's hit hard and hit right at you. Last night, pop-ups down the right field line. Ellsbury was there in plenty of time to catch, and Brad Hopp could not get there.
Spielberg's 0 for 1. He has fly to center. Now, they have been talking about that really since April, how good the Sox advanced scouting's been.
Well, and Brad Mills gave all the credit in the world to the advanced scouts for the pickoff of Holiday. That was a huge play. He's on base. Helton is up. Papelbon's on the mound. A one-run ball game. And the reason Brad Mills signaled in the pickoff was because the advanced scout said when Papelbon gets on the mound, they know he's slow to home. Everybody on that team is going to run on it. So what you need to do is just throw over once in a while to try to hold him. Well, they caught him.
Fouled away by Spielberg's. And that became the first pickoff in Jonathan Papelbon's career. It happened in a World Series game. Holiday said afterwards he wanted to cry.
Yeah, he was 4 for 4. They only had 5 hits that day, and because of Brad Mills, Matt Holiday felt worse than anybody.
1-2, not chase the high heat. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, I'll tell you another area of concern for the Red Sox tonight. Terry Francona saying that they would like to stay away from Okajima. I mean, if anything, they might get him up to bring him in for a hitter, but they would like to not do that.
Pitched a lot in this series. Up high. He was out there last night, and that was on the heels of Game 2, and he went 2 1/3, the longest outing of his season.
And I think you would agree. He wasn't as sharp last night as he was in that other outing, and they've already had to shut him down once because of fatigue. I mean, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but boy, when he's healthy and when he's rested, he's big on that mound.
There with Timlin in the bullpen. Here comes the 3-2 to Spielberg, and he walked him. Second one issued by Lester tonight. It comes with 2 down in the 4th. So in each of the last 3 innings, the Rockies have had a base runner. Twice that man has been in scoring position. 64 pitches for him. Looking more and more like a 5-inning outing. Unless things go absolutely haywire right here. Brad Hopp will climb in. He walked in the second.
They talk about his power. We've heard it throughout this postseason, but we've not seen it yet in this World Series.
He went for the downs there, 0-1. We've seen a lot of that, and the Red Sox in the first couple of games in the series looked like they had found a hole in Hopp with the high fastball.
Yeah, he's just not been able to get his timing down with that leg kick. I'm guessing because of the layoff.
1 ball, 1 strike. Red Sox 1, Rockies 0. 4th inning, World Series Game 4. A win for Boston, and the season ends tonight. The Red Sox will win the World Series for the 2nd time in 4 years. For the 2nd time in 89 years.
That didn't sound as good as the second
time in 4 years. Sounded a lot better. I agree. Yeah. You're a Sox fan.
You know, and you just think about with them winning, that man right there will be 8 for 8 as a manager in World Series games.
Well, then he solidifies his legacy as maybe the greatest Red Sox manager of all time, with 2 World Series wins and 1 victory away from that. First manager in Major League history to win his first 7 World Series games. Other managers have won 7 or more World Series games in a row, but not their first 2 World Series. Lester with a 1-1, fouled off, and Lester with the upper hand.
You know, we were talking last night and kind of kidding about the manager and the job that Terry Francona has done. And I asked the question if a manager had ever been named the MVP, and obviously the answer is no, but he has had a lot to do with what has gone on in this series, whether it be changing the lineup or changing the pitcher on the mound. He's just done a terrific job.
Under Francona, the Red Sox are 5-0 in potential series clinching games. Spilborgh's kept busy over there at first. Each side with 2 hits. Cook against Lester, both of whom have overcome serious physical obstacles to be here tonight, and both pitching very well. There's a swing and a high fly ball into right center. Ellsbury moving over toward the alley, and there for the catch. Side retired. No runs, no hits, a walk, 1 man left. After 4, this pitcher's duel in game 4 continues. It's the Red Sox 1 and the Rockies nothing. Colorado Rockies desperate to win one time and stay in it. Boston has the lead, although Aaron Cook, even though he's trailing, has pitched very well. This one socked into left center field. Mike Lowell, it'll roll onto the grass. Holiday there to scoop it up, then he drops it. And Mike Lowell is into second with a double. He was going all the way. A leadoff 2-base hit for the man who may be the MVP of this series.
You know what, OB? He took off real hard going all the way. But as he got around first base, I mean, he kind of made up his mind. You know, do you see him kind of hesitate there like that's a double? When Holiday dropped that ball, there was a chance he might have been able to continue, but kind of hesitated as he went around there when he saw Holiday turn around. And
I know you admire Mike Lowell as much as I do. He rarely thinks 3 out of the box.
That is true.
Maybe in his wildest dreams. Here's J.D. Drew, who's 0 for 1 with a pop out. Trying to pick up the RBI or at least advance Lowell down to second. The way Cook is going, this is a big run out there.
You know what? Right now, I would turn J.D. Drew loose. You've mentioned the great numbers that he has in his career off of Aaron Cook. He's got a homer, a double, a triple, 4 for 11 coming into play. Just let him swing it.
He does, taps it back to Cook, who freezes the runner Lowell, 1 man out. That has been the magic formula for Cook all night. Get them to pound it into the ground.
Well, and you know what? He took advantage of the fact that Drew was trying to pull the baseball. Watch where the pitch is. Down and away. He's trying to pull the baseball. You see him roll the hands over there to try to advance the runner. I mean, I think in that spot there, just turn him loose. Let him drive that ball to the opposite field, maybe in the location of where it went with Lowell.
Jason Varitek now, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He was grounded out to second, had a double, and went 1 for 4 last night. All those ground outs, that's what tells you he is on.
Doesn't get many swings and misses. So use that mentality of not being afraid of contact.
We've talked about it on August 7th, 2004. Cook had to have, as he was getting ready to start against Cincinnati, had to come out of the ball game because he was dizzy and having breathing problems. He was diagnosed with a pulmonary embolism, blood clots in his lungs, which had traveled down from his right shoulder. He underwent 2 surgeries, the first to remove the first rib on his right side. It was an 8-hour procedure. 1-0 pitch. Hammer through the hole for a base hit. Here comes Lowell, they're waving him in. Hop fires to the plate. A play at home. He slides. He's safe. The Red Sox lead it 2-0. Mike Lowell, one of the best base runners the Red Sox have. And he went to the backside of home plate to score on the single by Varitek. The Red Sox double their lead.
Boy, he got a great jump on this ball. It was hit on the ground just past the diving Todd Helton when he could not get there. Third base coach DeMauro Hale said, "You got to go, big boy." It was a strong throw, but just like you said, a perfect slide there. Helton not able to come up with it. We know one thing. Hopper's a former pitcher in college. He can throw as he does there. But look at the slide. Look at where he's at. Just grabbing home plate as he goes by it. That's a lot like what happened with Manny last night. The only thing was, as Manny went by it, he didn't get the plate the first time. He went back to get it. By then it was too late.
Lugo swinging up the middle. First ball swinging, and it's a base hit. 3 hits in the inning for the Red Sox, and are they starting to wear down Aaron Cook?
Well, remember the key? Trying to get him through 5 innings. That may not happen. He cruised after the first inning. 3 up, 3 down, and 2 consecutive innings until the double by Mike Lowell. Now back-to-back singles. You got to start thinking about getting somebody going in your bullpen.
Right now, they do not have any activity. The pitcher is due up in Leicester. Apodaca coming out to consult with Cook. But now those ground balls are making their way through. Whereas before, they were hit right at somebody.
Well, everybody talking about right now the bunt situation. Reminding everybody out there that this guy's not a National League pitcher. He does not have a lot of experience doing this. So for me right now, you want to get the force play at third. You've got to, for the first time in this series, as a Rocky, be aggressive. Take it away from him. Come in at the corners. Have the shortstop with the wheel play where he breaks behind the runner and it takes off the third, and get the force play.
Lefty and a righty throwing the Colorado bullpen. Affeldt is the lefty. Spire the right-hander. Lester trying to drop down a bunt, went right through it. This is not an area he particularly excels in. Of course, very few American League pitchers ever get the chance to bat. So quick activity now for Colorado in that pen.
And even when they get a chance to practice it, it's not against fastballs like this with this kind of movement. Lester's looking at something right now that's just a blur to him.
That's a ball, and the count 1-1. Runners at first and second.
I can't believe they're not trying to take the force play away from him at third and possibly get that double play. Ellsbury has been wearing them out in the on-deck circle. If this sacrifice bunt gets down and they advance, it might be 4-0 real quick.
2-0 at the moment. Lester squaring to bunt again. Pulls it away, and that's now 2-1. When Helton is charging, he's within 20-25 feet of Lester.
Aaron Cook's been around long enough to know you got to throw a strike. Look at Helton. Look at him coming in. I mean, he wants to get this ball. He knows there's a chance for 2 if he can get his hands on.
2-1 pitch. He foul tipped that bunt, and a count 2-2. So Lester unable to get it down.
The bunt looks terrible, doesn't it?
It really does.
So why not try something else? Just, you know, whatever.
Maybe get lucky. Maybe chop one over third.
Exactly. You know, let him just stand up there and maybe swing, and who knows, you might walk him.
Well, Daisuke got a hit last night. Lester, they're going to leave the bunt on, and he takes outside for ball 3. So now it gets really fascinating. Daisuke with his big 2-run single.
Wow. Remember Bob Apodaca? Don't be afraid of contact. He's not walked anybody up to this point, and all of a sudden with the pitcher there, he's lost that mentality.
Lester turns to bunt again and missed it for strike 3. First strikeout for Cook. 2 men out. Runners at first and second for Boston. Red Sox leading 2-0. Well, if there is a game 5, we will have it for you live from Coors Field right here in Denver. Josh Beckett set to go for the Red Sox. Jeff Francis will take the hill for the Rockies. That's a rematch of game 1. Our coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern, midnight GMT on Monday, October 29th.
I'm using my telestrator there, partner.
If necessary. I don't think you've ever used it better.
Pretty good circle. Here's a pretty good hitter, too.
Ellsbury with a double and a run. Also grounded out 1 for 2. Every add-on run makes it more difficult for the Rockies and tightens things up. The pressure. An extra base hit here would score 2 in this big ballpark. And with Lugo at first, who can really fly. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, just going back to 2004 when they won the World Series and swept the Cardinals, that man, Pedroia, he was playing in the Arizona Instructional League. The man at home plate right now was going to college at Oregon State. It's all new to them, what's going on here, but they certainly don't act like it.
2 balls, 1 strike. And we saw Ellsbury knock one down the left field line for a double. Last night, one of his 3 doubles just inside the right field line. It's dropped out of the range of Brad Hopp. He also has a little more power than you might suspect. An ability to drive the ball. The 2-1. Fouled away. All even now. 2-2. Veritek at second. Lugo at first. The Red Sox have a run in on the RBI single by Veritek to bring in Mike Lowell. Fans have their towels out again. Question is, will those be crying towels at the end of the night? The 2-2 swung on and missed. He struck him out. Cook comes up big. He gives up another run, but ends the frame by striking out Lester and Ellsbury. But the Red Sox have another. We're at the midway point of Game 4, and Boston leads it 2-0. Back in Denver, we want to welcome the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 176 countries and territories, who are watching Major League Baseball International on AFN, American Forces Network. Certainly hope you're loving the World Series in Kuwait, Belgium, Greece, Sri Lanka, Spain, Italy, South Africa, and many other places where your service is so deeply appreciated. Thank you so much for all you do from the bottom of our hearts. And that goes for everyone in the crowd here tonight at Coors Field. I can guarantee that. Almost 50,000 fans. Sure hope you've been enjoying the pregame ceremonies as well. Trisha Yearwood singing the national anthem. Well, if that doesn't make you proud, nothing does. What a great voice. Great ceremonies here in Denver. They've done a great job.
These fans have been amazing, with no more support than they've gotten from their offense.
Torrealba to lead off the 5th inning here. He is 0 for 1 with a ground out to short. God Bless America will be performed by Lone Star in the middle of the 7th inning, from what we're told. Another one on Rick Sutcliffe's all-time list.
iPod.
Lone Star has had 9 #1 singles on the Billboard Hot Country Song Chart. Their 1999 hit single "Amazed" went to #1. Rick, do you want to know anything else about Lone Star? Because I think I can come up with something for you.
I've known them all personally for about 10 years.
Oh, well, okay. Never mind.
I'll introduce you to them. If
you know what? You've introduced me to Kenny Chesney.
We'll find Trisha.
Your buddies Brooks and Dunn, yeah? You know them all.
Well, I think right now these Rocky fans would like to be reintroduced to their offense.
1-2 hammered, foul just outside first. Torrealba thinking double. It's funny, Faith Hill has never made her way into our booth. Why is that?
Well, I think Tim's a little nervous with you.
Yeah, right. Cook is on deck as we give you a look at Lester's pitching line to this point.
Well, Well, it looked a lot like the line for Daisuke last night. I mean, the Rockies went until the 6th inning before they scored a run, and that was only because Daisuke lost home plate. He walked 2.
Jam job there, a little trickler foul.
Boy, he was good last night. And I mean, I would bet right now I'll be more surprised if he does not win 18 games next year than if he does.
Do you think just the maturity factor of pitching a full season in the big leagues and this long run in the postseason?
Yeah, I think winning Game 7.
Popped up, shallow center, lengthy romp out there for Lugo, but he covers the ground well. And Torrealba is now 0 for 2, 1 away in the 5th.
You know, that's a thing you have to have here are infielders that have a lot of range and can go get those pop-ups, because the outfields are so deep. There's no way, even with the speed of Ellsbury, that he could have gotten in to get a lot of those balls. So, you know, as an infielder, a lot of times right here, the ball's hit. I mean, you see how deep he is right there. If you just give up on it and you say, oh, the outfielder will get it, I mean, you have to have that mindset before the ball is hit. That if that ball is hit in the air as an infielder, it's yours until you're called off. This game's played completely different in this ballpark because of how big that outfield is.
Communication's a big part of it, too.
Yes, sir.
Your outfielders and those middle infielders in particular, they've got to talk, have their signals straight. Here's Cook. Bunting his way, maybe on. Here comes Pedroia. Will not have a play, and Aaron Cook bunts for a single. How about that? Just the 3rd hit of the night for Colorado.
We've talked about it. You've got a left-handed pitcher on the mound. He does not get back towards the first base side very well. He's a big guy. He's 6'2". Look at that. He's got no range that way. He completely falls down. That has been wide open all night long, and it finally takes the pitcher to take advantage of it.
Well, is this the point where it will begin for Colorado on a bunt from their pitcher? Lester could not get the bunt down.
Well, why wouldn't you follow it right back up with Matsui here? He runs better than Cook does. He can see that it's wide open there. I got to take a shot if I'm the Rockies, and if I'm Clint Hurdle, I put that sign on.
Matsui 1 for 2. He is showing bunt, but takes the ball. He doubled in the 3rd inning.
It's wide open. All you've got to do is get it to Big Papi just about 15 feet from the foul line.
Red Sox getting activity in their pen. Manny Del Carmen, the Boston native. Red Sox trying to get Lester through 5 innings. Matsui not bunting, cuts right through it. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Let's go back to that bunt. You know, this Rocky team, it's amazing. When you're playing on October the 28th, you've done a lot of really good things. But right now, they're trying to do too much. If nothing else, if you bunt the ball in that direction, at least you get him into scoring position for Tulowitzki, who might tie the game.
Lowell in close at 3rd. No bunt here. Popped up instead. Lugo will put this away. 2 down.
I don't understand it.
Now, one thing that is hurting Colorado, and not to pile on, is a lack of creativity.
Do what you do best. And when you've got Matsui and you've got all of that speed, you just saw your pitcher take advantage of it and pick up just the 3rd hit of the night for your team. Lester's dominant. He's throwing really well. Try to get him out of sorts by doing what the pitcher did.
Tulowitzki so far hasn't had much of a clue against Lester. He grounds that one sharply to Lowell. A nice stop, and the side is retired. So the Red Sox, 4 starters in this series, have now given up only 4 runs in 22 2/3 innings. Lester through 5 is shutting out Colorado 2-0.